I don't know if anybody can hear me out there. Got to put these cheaters on so I can see you. I'm just trying to give this stream a try here. Hold on, I got to close this window. The sun is too bright. Close that even more. I don't know if anybody can hear anything I'm saying here, but I'm just trying to do live streaming, so this is sort of just a test. So Whipple1, hello. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can hear me, then please just write that in the little comment box there. And in fact, I'll type that and see. I'll type if you can hear me or not. Okay, great. Hello, all. Yeah, I just, like I said, I don't know what I'm going to say. I didn't know that this would go live right away. I just wanted to give it a try to set up this this live streaming. And so I guess what we'll do right now is, if you have any questions, just ask away, and I'll answer. I probably won't do this too long. I got to get to work. I got to hammer and make some money. So yeah. So anyway, can you see me fine? Let me type that. Man, a lot of people joining this chat. Well, I guess, I want to say happy Labor Day to everyone back home, back in the U.S., and I guess Labor Day in Canada as well. So what time is it here? It's 7:47 a.m. How long, Hammer and Anvil says, how long have I had the channel? Oh, I guess I've had this channel about 5 years now, maybe a little bit longer. I've got to go back. Sorry, this stuff is coming in real quick. Hold on a second. What inspired me to pick up blacksmithing, and how to keep up your motivation? Well, yeah, that's a good question. And that's from that Elmo. Yeah, like a lot of people, I got into blacksmithing because I was interested in woodworking, and then I wanted to make my own tools. I wanted to try to make some chisels and things like that. So, I just started to fool around, and I set up a very small forge, and that was in fact in Taiwan many, many moons ago, and it was actually very laughable. But I was hooked. I was instantly hooked. The first thing that I ever hammered on, I remember, were just little nails, and I was just bending them, just making like little rings, and I just was just over the moon. And so when I moved back to the States, I'm originally from Staten Island. When I moved back to the States, my wife and I, we moved to Washington State, or actually to Oregon, to Portland first. And then I volunteered at a place called Fort Vancouver. And at that place, it's kind of a place that recreates what life was like in the 1850s in that area. And I think, trying to think what's the name of the company was anyway, it's a British company that was operating back then during the fur trading era. And so their blacksmithing shop was very, very traditional. And I made some good friends there, lifelong friends, and really got going at that point. So, yeah. Anyway, and the first real thing I ever made, I remember, was a tongue, believe it or not. And I remember I made it out of rebar, and it worked, but didn't really look like much. And that really got me going. And I started making tongs, and then I haven't made anything else but tongs. So it's like, I don't even think I'm a blacksmith, to be honest. So, all right, hold on. I got to look at these comments are coming in really quick. So hold on. I really wasn't prepared for this today. So hold the phone. All right, let's see here. It says, okay, just thanks for putting up the videos. Yeah. All right. Say I really like your channel. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Your niece volunteers at Fort Vancouver. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Hold on. I gotta go back and look at this stuff. Yeah, okay. And so anyway, yeah, I guess that's pretty much checked up. I really want to say thanks to everyone who makes my channel possible. You know, without the support I received from people who just watching, it would be impossible for me to take the time that I take. And you know, and I always say this to everyone, is that my videos are more like amateur hour style kinds of videos. You know, I'm not very computer savvy or camera savvy. In fact, my camera is actually my cell phone, or it's actually a second cell phone that I have, and yeah, it works for me. So what can you say? Hold on, I gotta check some more things out here. What blacksmithing channels do you normally watch? From Aaron Overby. Well, I'll tell you what, Aaron. You know, because a typical day, you know, I begin pretty early and I take care of, you know, whatever tools I have to make, and then fool around with the YouTube and videos and other things like that. I rarely watch other blacksmithing channels. Of course I do watch them, but in my off time when I'm relaxing, I prefer to watch things that don't have anything to do with blacksmithing. But if I do watch blacksmithing channels, yeah, let me think. You know, you know, who would I say that I like a lot? I like them all. I guess I like Black Bear Forge and Christ-Centered Ironworks. They're, you know, I would say that they're I'm in communication with them. So I guess you could say that we're sort of friends. I think who else? Yeah, boy, I really wasn't prepared for this. It's like, yeah. Anyway, like I said, I don't watch a ton of blacksmithing, but when I do, you know, I just, you know, it's typically, you know, stuff that maybe I don't actually do, but I like watching. Does that make any sense? You know, I normally don't like to watch stuff like if someone is making tongs, I typically don't like to watch that because it's not because I think, oh, well, because I know how to do it, so I don't need to watch other people. There's others out there that are doing things that are way beyond me. It's just that, you know, I feel, I've said this before, if I watch channels, if I watch videos of things that I typically want to do, a lot of times I lose my own thoughts or my creativity for what I want to make then, if I want to try to improve something, because I get stuck in that mode of, well, this is the way it has to be done. Now, that's not always the case. You know, there's many times where, you know, if I see, I have seen other people make tongs in certain ways, and then I've taken certain aspects of that and incorporated it into my own work. So anyway, I'm really going on and on here. Let's see, what else do we got here? Quick question. Are you thinking about doing more hashtag shorts here on YouTube, or are they too much of a pain in the ass? That was Reverend Fox. When you mean shorts, you mean like this here, like a live stream, or just short videos? Yeah, I'm just going to continue to do what I normally do, which is, you know, just, you know, post whatever I feel like that might be interesting. And a lot of times, especially recently, a lot of my videos are more, I would say they're more tell me, don't show me videos. You know, I start to talk a lot and they don't really show much, and I got to get back to more quality content. So yeah, that's that. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Oh, don't forget to thumbs up. It makes a difference. I'm not exactly sure where I thumbs up. Let's see. Hold on a second. I'm gonna try to figure out how I can. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, it says pin message, remove. I don't want to pin. I mean, I don't want to remove it. Report, hide user, add moderator. Yeah, I don't know exactly. Hold on a sec. I'll send an emoji across. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry like that. I'm not exactly sure how to use this. I've got to get acclimated to this system. Let's just keep this simple today because this is really like a little bit too much for me. Yeah, just if you have any other questions and if I'm able to answer, just ask those and then we'll get on with it from there. Hold on a second. Yeah, okay, Robert Simmons, did you finish your septic system in Washington? And when are you planning on building? Yeah, the septic system is in, and so the only thing I had them hold off on installing the computer because, you know, I mean, let's face facts, you know, things have a way of walking away, you know, when you're not around. So, and that would be outside and attached to a pole or there was a building. So, so the computer unit that panel is not there, but the whole system, the septic tanks and the draining field, all that is in. And man, it cost the earth. You know, it's just, you know, I can recall that my wife and I, we built a home in Washington, be probably about 15 years ago now. And at that time, the septic system probably cost about, and it was a pump system, you know, a pre-treatment and pump system. And it cost probably about, maybe I'm going to say like $12,000. And well, it's probably about triple that now. So it's just crazy. Prices are crazy. But, you know, what can you do? And as far as building, you know, I've started to think, and I have to be there to see, you know, to see if what I want to do, and if I want to do it, if I want to have someone else do it. So we'll see. All right, back to the comments. I think she meant to smash it on to help the monetization of your video. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to try to figure out how to like these comments that are coming in, the ones that I like. Hold on a second here. What would you make a leaf? Would you make a leaf on one of your videos, please? Okay, yeah, I think I've done that before, but it's very rudimentary. Like I said, I'm Mr. Tongs here, but yeah, I'll try to do a leaf and with just very basic tooling, so you don't have to go out and buy anything fancy. Okay, and that was from that Elmo. And Wesley McCravey, what kind of steel do you use for tongs? Almost exclusively, I use 1018 mild steel. And the reason being is that I always quench my tongs, and I found that if they're made from medium carbon, which would be next step up, you know, just for a straight carbon steel, 1045, it could crack over time. So typically use mild steel. Let me go back to, hold on. Yeah, so it says it appears to move like butter with low heat. Yeah, and that's definitely the reason why, is because it's mild steel. I don't know if you've ever hammered on any real wrought iron, but that's the real butter material. And steel is steel. It's always going to be a little bit harder, but you know, mild steel, obviously, mild and medium carbon. I think it's probably hard to tell the difference when hammering on such small pieces, smaller diameter stuff like the 14 millimeter that I normally use for tongs. Yeah, I'm gonna try to hold on. I'm gonna let's see here. People, nature, food. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna, you know, as far as this, like I said, this was only meant to be a test. I actually, when I started to I was actually gonna begin work, and then I thought, well, let me set up live streaming, because I saw it said that you have to wait 24 hours in order to go live, but apparently that's not the case. When I clicked live, I thought, okay, it's going to say you got to wait 24 hours. So I was not prepared. That's why, you know, that's why I'm wearing a tuxedo right now, you know, and I'm in my room here and the sun is glaring and I'm not really prepared. So please forgive me. And like I said, my plan was, you know, see, this is another thing that I wanted to say about YouTube is that, you know, it is a wonderful thing to reach out to different people and to be able to make a few bucks putting out these videos. And a lot of times people are very generous to donate, whether it be $1 even. You know, to me, that's really generous. And some people go way beyond that even. And so I always want to, you know, at first I was very hesitant to do, let's say, for example, Patreon. Because I felt like that's like begging almost. You know, I feel like, well, I work for my money. I'm the kind of guy, like, since I was 14 years old, I always had a job, always. You know, I used to work for my own sneakers. And so, and then I'm not saying nothing bad about my parents or anything like that. I'm just saying that was reality. So I've always felt like that if you know, if I come out and I said to people like, oh, you know, please donate to the channel, this and that would somehow, I don't know, I just feel like that's kind of not prostitution, but, you know, just it didn't feel right. But over time, I've come to realize that from the channels that I do watch, you know, non-blacksmithing channels and blacksmithing channels, that that's just the reality of this game right now, is that if you don't reach out to people, if you don't offer a little extra content, if you don't offer some kind of perks, you know, then you won't make it in this game of trying to stay on YouTube. And so what I've noticed is that of late, a lot of channels have floundered, and my own included. And I think that that's the last, I would say, the last year and a half or so. Right before the virus hit, man, I was flying high. I was like, whoa, I can't believe, you know, it's really not that much money, to be honest. But I was surprised how much money that I could make just from making the videos, maybe making 4 videos a month, you know, enough money that I would say it was worth it for me to do that rather than to work on something else. So, and then once the virus struck, and then, whoo, forget it. You know, everything went in the tank. And I think a lot of, you know, and a lot of that has to do with revenue from advertising and stuff like that. So, and so at any rate, you know, the point is you have to and try to generate revenue. And for me personally, like, I feel I always have to try to give back. And so that's why I've created things where, like, if you donate to a certain amount, you could get a free tongue and like that. And I'm working on that to update that and to get that sorted out. So anyway, yeah, enough of that. All right, let's move on. Back to the comments. All right. This format is perfect. You don't need a fancy setup. Yeah, I appreciate that, Reverend Fox. I appreciate that because I really wasn't sure. I just thought, well, what I want to do, I'm using my computer, and I'm thinking, like, I have such limited space when I'm hammering, but I would like to live stream while I'm hammering. But I can just imagine if I don't understand how this operates and I'm trying to, you know, my forge is going here and I'm hammering here and I'm trying to look over there at this screen, forget it. You know, I have to first do a few runs like this where it's Q&A, or maybe for the next live stream, maybe I'll prepare some things that I show you. Maybe I have some diagrams with techniques and stuff like that. So it's you know, so you're getting something and not just hearing some short bald guy, you know, just talking on the internet. All right. It says it's going to ask Crawford. Could be in. Oh yeah, you know something? Dragonstone Gem and Ironworks Crawford. It's funny you say that. You mentioned Farrier tongs. At least that's what I thought I saw. Gotta go back. Yeah, I actually just yesterday I was thinking, oh, I want to make a pair of Farrier tongs, and you know where you know the jaw is very short and kind of rounded, and then there's a round depression in the middle. So yeah, that'll be a video for sure. And maybe that could be on a live stream. I don't know. It just depends on how, you know, how I set this up. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. My phone is ringing. Phone is buzzing. Hold on a second. Yeah. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Getting paid for a hobby is the whole point in life, isn't it? Yeah, that's very, Tim O'Connor, that's very, very true. If you can get paid for your hobby, then work is not work. But it's just like, I don't know why, but because I'm hardwired for, I live by the philosophy of an honest day paid for an honest day of work. And I think that's because everything that I've gotten has always come through, you know, me working. So it's never been handed anything. So I feel like that, for me personally, like this whole world of, you know, it's like my wife will sometimes say is that you got to feel like you're worth it, like to you know, receive things maybe based on stuff that you say or show, because, you know, that maybe is contributing to what someone else needs to know, or maybe entertains them or whatever. She's saying that, you know, you have to see value in yourself beyond just that, you know, I got to move this pile of dirt from here to there and then I'll make X amount of money, that sort of a thing. I'm really rambling on. Boy, I'm really full of shit. Hold on a second. Let me check this out. Let me check these. Yeah, I will figure out how to pin and how to thumbs up these comments. And, you know, someone is saying that will make a difference. So I'm going to try to click on, let's see here. Could you make a custom 5/16 and 1/4 inch Farrier tongs and ship them to the USA? What would be the best way to contact you? Yeah, Andrew O'Nolan. Yeah, you know, like I said, I know I can make a pair of Farrier tongs. You know, how well they'll work for you, I don't know, but let's do this. I'll make a video of me making a pair of Farrier tongs, and if they come out to my satisfaction and it seems like something that you want, then yeah, if you want to contact me, the best way would be via email. You can hear it. See, I knew this was going to happen. These crazy birds come for food always. When I should be hammering right now, and they're wondering why I'm not out there and hammering and feeding them. So I'm going to have to hold on 1 second. I got to go out and give them something. He'll never stop. He'll never stop otherwise. Just give me 1 second. You crazy bird. All right. All right. Yeah, sorry about that. Sorry. Yeah, so the best way to contact me if you want anything, if you want to purchase any tongs, and by the way, that's probably the most ideal way to support me. Business for a lot of people, myself included, has been pretty, it's been pretty slack of late. So if you wanted to purchase anything, the best way to contact me is via email. And I have two emails because my Earthlink was a little bit weird of late, but the Earthlink is Glen, GLEN03 @earthlink.net, and my Gmail is gstongs@gmail.com. So that's real simple. And in fact, I'm going to type those in, so this way you can see. Email will be Glen03 @earthlink.net, or where'd it go? Hold on, sorry. Glen03 @earthlink.net. I'll send that. Or gstongs@gmail.com. Looks good. Huh? I said something, but it didn't get said. Oh, yeah, it did. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It came through the second time. Yeah. So, yeah, hold on. Let me go back to these comments here. Yeah, right. Right, Wesley. Right. I've got to leave the live stream to feed the begging birds. Right. That's right. I'm going to tell you something about these birds. And you know what I might do too is right now it's not very convenient, but I might grab my camera and walk around, and then it's my computer, not my mobile device, so it's a little bit trickier. But I could probably walk around with this and show you out here and show you all the presents that they leave me out here, and then my wife goes bananas. And by presents I mean the bird dropping. Yeah, but the whole bird thing has gotten out of hand. That the neighbors below too have gotten like upset, and a lot of it has to do with like I get a lot of different varieties of birds, but the sparrows are terrible, man. They're just terrible because they come in bunches. So I try to keep them away. I don't put out seed that maybe they like as much of late. I put out different kinds of stuff that would attract more the birds that I would like to see, and the ones that are not bananas all day long. So, good afternoon, all ye hammerheads. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good comment. Back a maker. Let's see here on the website. Yeah, the guillotine you made for me works great. Thanks. Yeah, Dwayne, I'm very glad that it works. You know something? I'm going to say a word about guillotine tools right now, and my own in particular. And I wish I had the stuff right next to me so I could show you. But in the past 6 months, I've really gone back and forth on changing the design, and maybe going back a couple of months, I changed it and I sold some. And then I changed again. And I think that if anyone received one and they felt that it wasn't up to snuff, then you can contact me. I feel like every version was okay, but the current version I feel to be the absolute best. And what happened was when things got pretty bad and prices went out of control, and then I was having machine work done on the guide parts, and those machine guides are very accurate, but like I said, very costly. And so I was always trying to find a substitute for that so I could keep my price the same and I wouldn't have to raise price and maybe even discount, when necessary, which is something I always do anyway. And so finally, went back and forth on different things, and I finally hit on a design with using pipe. And I found a way that I can forge those pieces of pipe into guides that work just very well and are very heavy and stout. So, so if you've gotten a guillotine tool from me, and you're happy with it, I'm really happy. And if you got one and you felt like I said, it maybe wasn't up to par, you can contact me and I'll handle it, not a problem at all. So, but I feel like the one thing about my guillotine tool is it's small and it's not fancy, but it's ready to go. And the medium carbon die stock works very well. You may experience mushrooming on the top dies where you hammer, and that's obvious, but the business ends of the dies work really well. They hold up well for me, at least. So let's see what else is going on here. Yeah, I'm really, you know, the one thing I'm gonna say, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that there's so many people on this thing so quickly. You know, I'm looking at, I don't know if this is true or not, but it shows that there's 31 people currently watching, and so, and now it's 34. To me, that's insane. Like, I just, you know, it seems like maybe I don't know, I'm being modest about it, but I'm, that there's anybody that wants to watch me just sit and talk is incredible. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna say something, right? Trayson's Forge, you love these glasses, right? These cost, I think I paid $10 for these. These are just, you know, cheaters, you know, because here's another thing I want to talk about is my eyesight. You know, I'm 52, and my eyes have been really good. I can see far away still really well. At distance, no problem. But up close, man, the past 6 months, it's just gotten progressively worse and worse and worse. And, you know, if I take these off, you know, I can see the comments. I can see it's fine. It's not that big a deal, but it's just annoying. And you can see I'll start to squint. So it's just a reality of getting older, I suppose. Oh well. And you know, I got a pair here. My wife gave me these, you know, and then I don't know. I just saw this pair here for $10 and I picked them up. They're really cheap. So anyway, so I might get to the point soon where I have to use these to, you know, when I'm hammering. But currently I don't have to, you know, just a standard safety goggle with no kind of lens for improving vision is needed right now. Let's see what else. Okay, yeah, Reverend Fork says, I've got an idea for a pair of tongs and I'll email. Yeah, email me. And if it seems like something that's worthwhile, I'll give it a go. You know, speaking of like unique tongs and things like that, because like I say, you see on my channel, like I'll always try kind of thing, a lot of different things, and a lot of things are kind of silly. And one time I made that a tongue out of one piece of steel, and a lot of people like that video because, yeah, I guess it could be a very easy way for some people who might find tongues a little bit challenging. And so I've had, you know, that and other ideas about how to make a tongue from one piece of steel and just the one piece, like, and have some kind of function where you pull on something and that puts pressure on the business end. I don't know. I still got this in my head, and so, you know, that kind of a experimental video could be in the works. And like I said, if anyone, that's another thing too, is I've never really tapped into where you guys say to me like, hey, you know, can you, like someone has said, can you make a leaf? And now I might have a special pair of tongs. Could you try this or that? If you have ideas for videos, of course, I'm open to listening. But, you know, you have to understand the scope of the things that I work on. You know, you see the setup that I have, how modest it is. So you just have to, you know, I have to think about my own skill set and, you know, the tooling that I use before I can decide if it's something I can do or not. And so that goes on to another topic of forge welding. You know, back in the day, I started with a coal forge, and I used to love to forge weld, and not always successful, not the best forge welder, I'll freely admit that. But over here with my little gas forge, I just don't like to forge weld. It's very difficult. It's tough. I have to dial up the pressure so high, and in my seated position, it's very uncomfortable to have the fire that hot and be right next to it, and to have the molten scale flying all over the place. It's just not good. You see how I dress, you know, you see how I am right now, you know, this is pretty much how I am, you know, when I'm hammering. So, and which is stupid, but, you know, if you were over here and you felt how humid it is here right now, you would be dressed like me too. You might not even have a shirt on. So, in fact, I'm happy I put this shirt on because I didn't have one on. So, yeah, you seem like a real dude that likes to laugh. Yeah, well, yeah, I appreciate that. I'm a regular ham and egger. And like I said before, that I barely consider myself a blacksmith. I'm just a guy who likes to hammer on hot steel and coincidentally makes his living through that. And I live very low key. And that's how I do it. You know, my wife and I mean, if I had kids, we don't have children, so that probably does help a lot. And we're very frugal people. We always have been. And, you know, we work hard and we save and we do what we can. So, yeah. And by the way, that's another thing that got me nervous is I got a letter. I never got a letter from the IRS, and I got a letter from them because my taxes from last year, there was some mistake and I owed them money. And so they sent the letter in May and I only got it in September. And so there's all sorts of different penalties added on, and I've been trying to call in, but it's obviously the holiday weekend, so I've got to try to call tomorrow to the IRS. If anyone works at the IRS, hold the phone, please. I'm contacting you as soon as I can. You know, don't try to put any lien on my property for $1,000. Please don't. Let's see here. All right, back to the comments. Smoosh the like button and like the smoosh button. Smoosh the like button. I'm not sure what that means. I feel you on the eyesight. I'm 54 and my double astigmatisms in both eyes and have gotten worse. Yeah, it's just, you know, in eyesight too. I see sometimes on TV, they'll have these like, over here they have what's called the Momo channel, which is kind of like QVC, I guess. And they sell all sorts of things to improve this and improve that. And guys who have like not a strand of hair on their head grow hair in like a week. And people with, long-sighted eyesight like me, they take some pills and then a week later their eyesight is, they can see through, women's dresses or whatever. They got like X-ray vision. So it's all crap, you know what I mean? Getting older is getting older, but there might be certain supplements that might help, but I'm not into that, so I'll just, do my best to, I do my best to not use these, because I always feel like if you use that crutch, like then you can't, you always need it. So, but for certain instances, like especially right now with my, my computer, the screen is pretty small, and so these words are pretty small. Got to have them on. So, yeah, I feel you. I feel you. Yeah, cheaters. Yeah, a lot of people talking about. Yeah. I've used those one-piece tongs and they work. Yeah, you know something. Most any tong can work. I mean, if you can put two halves together, if you can make two identical halves and you get them together, yeah, one way or the other, they'll work. I mean, I think the main thing that I noticed with tongs is that utility is, of course, primary, but then from there, like if you want to have some flair on them or you want to make them more comfortable and so on, that comes later on. So, if anyone wants to know a little bit more about my blacksmithing background, I mean, there's not really much to it, to be honest. Like I said, it's just, like I said, way back in the day, I just, I don't know how, maybe through, I don't know where I saw blacksmithing, because we didn't have the internet back then, but maybe on a book or something like that, I just started to fool around. And I remember the fuel that I used was charcoal. And that was ridiculous because it was a very porous kind of charcoal. So, stuff for like barbecuing over here, and it'd be like going bananas, popping and sizzling. And then I remember I graduated to using forged coke, which is, if you went to the traditional blacksmiths here and you see that they're using like a coal product, it's almost invariably, it's not coal, it's coke, which is coal that's been refined so that a lot of the impurities are burned off of it, and so it burns very clean. But you got to keep a constant blower going on it, but otherwise it'll go out. It doesn't have those, it doesn't combust very easily, but once it's lit and once it takes off and it's going, boy, it just keeps going. It burns very hot. So you talk about if you want to forge weld and you have that kind of a clean, hot fuel, yeah, you'd be good to go. And so obviously in the city here, where you can't bellow a lot of smoke, the blacksmiths that are in more industrial areas, so they can do hammering and they can, they could light a fire, but you just can't billow that much smoke. That forged coke works well. And I remember I bought a bag of that from, I didn't know what the hell it was, back in the day. I just knew, okay, it's coal, whatever. And I remember, like, I would forge. I had the little forge. It was just like a plate with a hole and, with a pipe going to my wife's hair dryer, and then a little kind of a tweer or, whatever you call that, the grate. And then I had the coke, and I'd struggle to get it going and make like a wood fire. And then once it got going, like I remember I had that blower on full blast, and I would get like 10 minutes of forge time, like before just everything went out and just shot. Everything was plugged up. So, that was kind of, baptism by coal or coke fire, I guess. And interesting, but not really effective. So, but for those who are out there who always want to journey into blacksmithing, that's kind of how, if you learn in that way, trial and error, it's good. It's good to give you experience on what works and what doesn't work. You learn very quickly. Mm, yeah, okay. Here's a different question from Guru Das Bak. How is the quality of life compared to the U.S.? Yeah, I would say, people are people everywhere. So you have your good and your bad and everything in between. I would say here, if I could say anything, is that there's probably, it's, I don't want to say it's a safer place because it's hard to say, but overall, in general, Taiwan seems to be like the cost of living, they keep that suppressed somehow. And I guess I don't know how they do it, but I wouldn't say it's in a bad way, but wages don't seem to go up much, but the prices of things don't either as well. Now that could be bad because, like, when you go out and buy, like, for example, yesterday I bought my dinner outside, I bought what they call a lunch box, which is rice and meat and 3 kinds of veggies. The price of that is maybe $3 US. And, back in the day, it was like $2.75, 10, 15, 20 years ago. So it's like, how is that possible? And, well, of course, they cut back on the meat, especially. You notice that, like, before, if you got like a pork chop, you'd see some pork. Now it's like, boy, it's like a piece of paper, So, and that's negative, right? But the life here, I would say, is that as far as like personal safety, you never have to think twice. And as far as like, people stealing stuff, it doesn't even seem to exist. I know it does, but I've never had a problem. I could leave my keys in my motor scooter and leave it out there in the middle of the street and no one would touch it. So it's a lot different that way. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not bashing on my own country and the U.S. because I love the U.S. I love a lot of things that it stands for. But, with the U.S., you have a lot of freedoms and you have also, that comes with a price sometimes. So here, like, I'll give you an example with the virus. Taiwan's done just an outstanding job controlling the virus. And when it finally struck here, they got it under control quickly. But, I don't want to say your freedom is trampled upon, but in certain ways, then, like the rules with masks, and like when we go into any kind of store, anything, you have to sign in the time that you're there and stuff because they want to track everyone. Now, that's possible in a small country like Taiwan. Maybe the government is able to oversee things maybe in a grander scale than a place like the U.S., which is basically 50 different countries, if you think about it, or, I mean, if you broke it down into regions, it's like several different regions with people with different mindsets and different thinking. So, it just, what would fly here is not going to fly there. And maybe that's good for here, but maybe that wouldn't be good for there. So, yeah, but Taiwan, I would say, most people, I would say you meet, it's weird. It's like, you meet more happy people in the U.S., but you meet more sad people. But here, people kind of somewhere in between all the time. I don't see a lot of sadness, and I don't see a lot of people destitute, but also don't see a lot of people like just flying high happy. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think that's a pretty good description of, the difference between Taiwan and the U.S. So, and like back to that question about the quality of life here. So, like I said, if you're, for me personally, it's really helped me because if I'm working and I'm selling tools and sending them back to U.S. and getting paid in U.S. dollars, and then, spending my money here where the cost of living is less, yeah, that really works out great. Now, if you want to, live like some foreigners, they don't want to assimilate into the culture here, and you want to have everything foreign and buy all sorts of imported things, yeah, you're going to pay top dollar, then it won't work out too well for you then. Let me check some other questions here. I think we'll probably, we'll keep this going maybe for another, I don't know, maybe 15 minutes or so, and then I got to get to work. And then the next live stream, I'll be more clear about how to do this and, how to interact with you guys, and then be better prepared to show you different things. And in fact, like I said, maybe be hammering on something while we're doing this live stream, which will be pretty embarrassing as well. All right. Okay. Yeah, hold on. How often do you refill your propane? Yeah, my propane tank, I can't think it's, the size of it is 16 kilo. Anyway, the size that they write on it is not what it'll hold. It holds, fully loaded, like Euro Dots box, that it weighs 75 pounds. So if I'm busy, I would say every 10 days I gotta haul a new one up. So recently that's been a lot less, but that's okay. What I found is that usually at this late summer time is probably the most slack time for business, for me at least. And so I use that opportunity to catch up on stuff, try different things. And I used to always go out and take rides into the mountains, and now I'm going to try to do that more and more. Okay. How are people taking the threats from the CCP in Taiwan? Are they worried? Yeah, Kevin, I'll tell you like this. Ever since I've been here day one, the front page headlines here are always something about where China's threatening Taiwan, and it never seems to come to fruition. And so most people here, they're just numb to the noise from, across the Taiwan Strait. So I think that, I'm not going to talk, I don't want to get into politics here. I don't want to be like, banned from YouTube, but, I think you could probably guess where my allegiance lies. And so I would say that, most people here, they just take everything with a grain of salt. And, will the threat become reality one day? I don't know. I don't think it will. Not in a violent way, but I could be wrong, but we'll see. Let's see here. So, so High Desert Forge says, so you're living there, but you must pay taxes here. That seems, no, it's just the U.S. gets you wherever you live. And I don't, to be honest, my wife pays her taxes, and then I'm included underneath her. I don't make any money in Taiwan, but I guess, anyway, the taxes that I pay here in Taiwan are through my wife. And then back, the money that I make is US dollars. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're making money in US dollars, from US citizens, you got to pay taxes. So every year, of course, I file my federal taxes, and, yeah, what are you going to do? I mean, it goes back to the whole death and taxes thing, I guess. I don't want to be, I love Red Fox, I don't want to be Red Fox #2 though, when they come and clean you out, So you've got to do your thing. And I think a lot of it has to do with is you just want to be, well, maybe some people will scoff at this, but you got to be up to date with Social Security, I guess, is that, I don't want to get to 65 and then when I'm looking for those $2, they're like, well, sorry, you didn't pay in or whatever. But like reality is it might not even exist by the time I could get any benefit. But yeah, you got to pay taxes. And if I was to earn money in Taiwan, like in the past when I did earn money in Taiwan, if you earn beyond a certain point, the U.S. it's an anomaly. Like the U.S. wants to tax that money as well. So they get you all sorts of different ways. So anyway, I hope that I can get through to them tonight, and I hope I can sort that out. And it's not that big of an issue. Like I said, it's a lot of money, but it's not that big of money. So I got to get it done. Patchy, the prehistoric pirate, says, I prefer United States because it's safer and means business to me as well as freedom. Listen, I want to move back to the States. I really do. Are there things I don't like about the States? Hell yeah. It seems like every town, I've lived in towns way out. I've lived in the big city, being from Staten Island. There's like a crackhead on every corner, in the U.S. Drugs is a bad problem. And to me, that trickles down into other aspects of like things, like I said, to thievery and stuff like that, and different violent acts and stuff. So there's a lot of aspects I don't like, but on the other hand, in the States, I feel like I can breathe. I feel like I have space. I feel like, my neighbors, like when I lived out in Washington, my neighbors are real neighbors. Like everyone is helps each other. I mean, I live in this big building here, and most people know me because I'm the bald-headed foreigner, and I'm very gregarious where I like to be around people, and I always say hello. My wife's like, who the hell is that? I'm like, that lives right below you, so that whole city mentality of, I just take care of myself and I'm not worried about anyone next to me. That's prevalent in any big town, I suppose. And so in the U.S., you have a lot of small towns, and, so you have more, and like I said, I just felt it to be more neighborly and just like the lifestyle a lot more. Mm, yeah, okay. Uh, yeah, okay. Tim O'Connor says gregarious. No way. Yeah, for me, yeah, right. I love to talk to. You know, that's another thing too that I want to touch on before I end this live stream is I was actually thinking of showing, and someone had said, yeah, that would be good to show exercises that I've been doing of late that have really helped me. You know, I've incurred a lot of you know, I guess you could say occupational injuries from blacksmithing, whether that be standing or in a seated position. And, you know, especially to like my shoulder here, you know, from that constant motion of like hammering, um, you know, and not to mention I've always had like a very bad back with 3 herniated discs and, you know, a lot of people have a similar situation. So it's nothing new, but about, I would say it's been about 2 years now. About 2 years ago, I had my worst episode ever with my back. And I was actually, my wife went to work. She left, I don't know, 7 o'clock or so. And then I was looking at my computer, getting ready to do my thing. I got up and I fell to the ground. I literally couldn't get off the floor. And I remember I was just in the most dire pain I've ever been in. I mean, and I've been in pain since I was 18 years old. And I first suffered an injury. I'll talk about that at another time. But I remember I was on the floor, and the floor was pretty dirty for me hammering here, and I had to drag myself around. I was dragging myself to my cell phone, and I got on the phone, and I'm screaming. I told my wife, yeah, get your ass home, man. I'm laid out on the floor. You know, and so she came right back home and, you know, took off from work and got me to the emergency room, and I can hear the sparrows out there. It's gonna piss me off. So, and got into the emergency room, and I remember like the hospitals nowadays, like they just seem to ask you your name. They don't seem to really do anything else. I didn't know if they thought I was like on drugs or something. They must have asked me what my name was about 10 times. And they gave me some pain pills and stuff. Nothing helped, nothing. And I've been to all sorts of doctors, all sorts of kinds of treatments. And so my wife finally said, that's it. You know, you're going to join the gym. You know, I want you to, you know, to go, if you even just go there to use the spa, you know, that would be worth it. Hold on a second. I got to get this bird out of here. All right, sorry. Yeah, so I joined the gym. Initially, I thought because I've exercised in the past, so I know, you know, my way, know the ropes or whatever about using the machinery and the barbells, dumbbells like that. And so I kind of did a little of this, little of that, but yeah, I didn't really feel too interested. And then I looked into yoga class, you know, the group class happening. And then when I saw the teacher, after the class was over, I approached the teacher and I said, because it's mostly just women. In some classes, you don't hardly see any men. And I said, well, can guys join this? And then she's like, sure, you can. You know, and I joined and I never looked back. From day one, the improvement that came to my health has just been astronomical, just astronomical. Am I lighting the world on fire with yoga? No, I'm never, and I'm not looking at it. It's not like from a spiritual perspective or religious perspective. I could, you know, this is not some artsy fartsy, you know, Indian guru stuff, just proper stretching. And so I might maybe share that with you guys in some videos, maybe live streams, I don't know, and show you what's really helped me with the back, the hip, you know, especially if you sit when you're hammering, that might alleviate pain in some areas, but it could create problems in others. So yeah, anyway, I'll share my thoughts about that in the future. All right, hold on a second. Let's see, take 1 or 2 more questions. Maybe, all right, Eric Chard Mello says, maybe you already answered this, but where did you learn to speak the local language? Yeah, just from, all right, I'm just going to cover this real quickly, and then we can talk about this in the next live chat. We can just chat about my background. But I went to college on Staten Island, and when I was in college, I really liked languages, and I studied French, and I really enjoyed I enjoyed the literature, I enjoyed all of that, and I studied for about 4 years and loved it. I just had a lot of fun taking class, and so I had this grandiose plan that, hey, you know, when I graduate college, and then I'm going to go to France, you know, and I'll try to learn the language that way, you know, by living there. And I don't know, I thought maybe I was going to be like Marco Polo in China, something like, you know, that everybody's going to be like, whoa, look at this guy, an American, you know, hello, you know. And it turned out to be, I was very young and dumb, you know, and naive. And as soon as I went there, and then I ran into some problems, and I just gave up instantly. And I just felt very dejected, and I had a girlfriend at that time on Staten Island, so I guess that probably like kind of tugged me back. And so I quickly went back to Staten Island, and I had a friend in college who was Taiwanese, and that person said, hey, you know, you like languages, and maybe you should try to go to Taiwan, and you know, you could actually probably teach English there and make money at the same time while you're learning. And so I looked into it, and then saved some money, and I took a trip here in 1992. I remember, and I came here for 5 weeks, just a vacation, just to scout things out. Didn't know anyone, I'll tell this story in more detail next time. And came here, and the contrast between when I went to France and here was gigantic. And this is not knocking France at all, you know, beautiful people, beautiful country, but for a young person, I wasn't prepared for the standoffishness that I came up against with certain people, and I didn't know how to deal with that. So it's my fault. It's no one else's fault. But when I came to Taiwan, you know, people would be very, they were maybe more open to, like, if I was to approach someone and if you just spoke one word of Chinese, people were like, whoa, you speak Chinese, excellent, even though I didn't, you know, at that time. Anyway, came here for a vacation. I thought I liked the language, and this could be a cool place to be and, you know, to learn. So I went back to the States, got a job. I was working in Manhattan, and I'll talk about that as well, what I was doing, and, you know, and how that went and all of that. And I saved money for a year, and coincidentally, and 1 year later, a year to the day, it was September 16th, 1992, the first day I came here, and it was September 16th, 1993, when I came back. And I came here and I thought I've saved money for a year. I have a few, at that time, I remember I had $4,000, which to me was like a ton of money. You know, I think when I went to France, I had $800 in my pocket, literally. And so, and I literally had it in my pocket, right? So I had enough money that I thought I could hold out for, you know, maybe a year, the way I live, and especially back then. And so came back, and 1 year became 2, became 3, became 4. Before you knew it, you know, I was here for a long time. Met my future wife. We were neighbors, and you know, and then after we knew each other for 8 years, we were married. You know, we went back to the States and got married. So yeah, end of story. That's it. All right. I'll continue on this more and more about, like, you know, about my own personal background and how I got to be where I am right now and where I see myself going in the near and the distant future. Well, I know where I'm going in the distant future, which is into the dirt. I mean, in the you know, the closer future. All right. Yes. Yeah, Tim O'Connor, I had someone try to steal my cane in Gare du Nord. Yeah, okay. Well, people will steal anything that's not locked down, okay? What can you say, you know? I guess there's a lot of drug addicts that need canes. I don't know. Yeah, well, anyway, listen, guys. I cannot believe that this has been going on this long. So it's about, like, close to an hour. And, you know, so if anyone has any other questions, come on, ask it now. I won't extend this beyond an hour. It's about 50. We're on about 54 minutes now. There's still about 50 people who are watching, which to me is just unbelievable. It's outstanding. And so let's see here. And like I said, I'm gonna, when I close this off, I'm gonna experiment about how to interact with you guys on the chat, in the chat zone here, whatever you call that. And then I do want to try to create super chats where if anyone felt the need to donate, that I could give them a shout out right away. And depending on that, whatever donation you might give, I could apply that to rewards, you know, like I said, tongs, whatever it might be. So, all right, let me see. Yeah, a lot of well wishes. Thanks. Keep up the good work. Yeah, you know, someone mentioned, I just saw a touch mark. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good. You know, the thing with the touch marks is this, is that the engraver, man, that guy is a pro, a serious pro, but he's in his 70s and he's in really good health. But, you know, he kind of disappears, like, and he just, like, especially when the virus hit, then he took off for, I don't know, he took off for probably a few months. So I didn't see him for a while. So I kind of just let that be. And anyone interested, I told them, just check with me later. And then now that he's back, I've just noticed that the interest has waned. I've had 1 or 2 in the past months that have wanted touch marks, and some people have inquired, but they didn't follow through. So yeah, I still offer that service. And so yeah, if you're interested, just email me. You have to send me your design, and you have to tell me the size that you want it to be. And always remember that fine lines, designs that are made up of primarily fine lines, is always better than bulky images. Because if you try to imprint a bulky image, it's just it sometimes will displace the surrounding metal too much. So yeah, but the marks he makes are top quality. I've had a lot of people, they've gotten them, have been using them for years and still going strong, and my own as well. And I can't speak for others, where people get marks made in the States or elsewhere and what the quality is, but he uses H13 steel, and he takes them out to get heat treated. The guy who does a special heat treatment on that steel on the just on the business end, so that the striking end remains pretty soft. Hold on just 1 second more. I got to get that bird out of here. He's driving me bananas. I can hear this chirping in my sleep. All right, bird, take off. All right. Yeah, I think I'm definitely not going to sit here because of the bird influence is just too strong. I've got too much. I got bird on the brain, bird brain. Yeah, okay, Roger. Yeah, here's another thing. Okay, here's another point about the touch marks, and this also goes on to shipping. And and this applies to any tools, anything that I send, is that the shipping. I've been here on this second go in Taiwan. I've been here more than 10 years and running my biz from here and sending back. And the 2 things I want to say is the U.S. Post Office and the Taiwan Post Office are world class. And I know some people are going to snicker and say, the U.S. Post Office stinks and they've had bad experiences. But in all the years I've been using them, when I was in the States sending priority mail, and then from here when I send stuff, I've had so few problems, I just can't believe it. And so I think a lot of when people have problems with the Postal Service, a lot of times is they don't write clearly about the address or other information, or they don't have the proper forms, whatever it might be. So anyway, but the price was stable too for 10 years, barely budged. What Taiwan would charge for me to send stuff back stateside, and in fact, it always would depend on the weight. Like the lighter weight sometimes would not be cost effective. You have to get a little bit heavier in order for it to be a pretty reasonable price on a per item basis. So at any rate, once after the virus, forget it, all bets are off. Is that they raised their rates to reflect what other countries were charging, and the fewer flights and other different logistical problems that they were having. So it's still within reason, and to some extent though now I do subsidize it a little bit, like where like if someone wants XX and X, and I know like, okay, I can discount the product so much, and I can also take a little bit of a hit on the shipping and it's worth my while still, especially on Tongs, because the overhead is so low, because all I have to do is buy steel and then whatever time and the gas, and my time I don't even count. So yeah, I don't what was I making that point for? Yeah, anyway, what I want to say is that the shipping, like Roger had said, to a lot of countries was suspended. And in fact, it's still suspended, like to the UK. I have a lot of customers who have been waiting, and they're probably long gone now. And I ask all the time, and they've only reopened shipping to the UK via small package method, which is 2 kilos or less. And so a lot of people who wanted things were beyond that weight, so nothing I can do about that. So, and then, so a lot of Europe, like, the one good thing is the U.S. always was, they have such a good relationship with Taiwan, and I guess Taiwan needs the U.S. So they maintain shipping. There were delays and stuff, but that's all gotten worked out pretty much worked out. So things have been moving along smoothly, albeit at a higher cost, to me at least. Yeah, but if I'm able to send, if you wanted a mark, you let me know where you're at, and then I'll send it. And to some places, like for instance, Canada. And I have a recent customer, Greg Turcotte. He's purchased a lot of things of late, and I really do appreciate that. To Canada is only via express air mail, so that's just a little bit more expensive. and the time frame's a little shorter, but not a lot. Standard airmail and express airmail, kind of like, it's like in around a week time frame for you to receive stuff. All right, let's see. Yeah, Glen suspended for a week and stuff. Yeah, okay. The hurricane's probably suspending some things, right? If I send something to Louisiana, I'm sure that you have to consider the weather conditions as well. So, yeah. Well, let me scan through one more time. Let's see. Yan Music says maybe one French word. Okay, the one French word is this. Fin, the N, right? F-I-N, how it's pronounced, right? It's over, right? So yeah, we'll end this live stream here, and yeah, okay, bonsoir, right? Okay, bonsoir and bonjour, right? So at any rate, yeah, I don't speak a lot of French. I see people writing over here, and it looks like it's in Japanese. So I don't know what that's about. So I don't read Japanese, so that's the end of that, yeah. And, if you write in French, je ne parle pas beaucoup de français, so just keep it in English, please. Okay? All right. Anyway, that's all for now. Check back, and appreciate everyone who's been on this. And, yeah, thanks, Reverend. I can see there's probably spammers. I'll talk to you guys next time, and keep the fires going, and keep the questions coming. And remember to check in with me via email. If you want anything, just let me know, and I'll do my best. I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks.